All right. So this podcast is not going to get videos, but I still want to promote it because we out here promoting my own shit, right? Anyways, the My Two Cents podcast. If you're unfamiliar with the My Two Cents podcast, it's my podcast that I do every week, just like this podcast. But instead of talking about the worldly topics that I talk about here, I simply just talk about music. So I listen to an album, I review it, and that is the podcast there. Or I just talk about specific songs or things that's going on within the music industry, music based discussions in general. If you want my thoughts on that, the only way you will find those episodes or just my thoughts on that is by subscribing to the My Two Cents podcast. And the link description box below, you will find all the DSPs to where you can find the My Two Cents podcast. Appreciate your support. Support that podcast just like you're supporting this one. Now back to the show. All right. So the last topic here, I wanted to talk about the toxic side of loneliness or being a loner, right? Um, we're talking about a lot of toxic stuff, just toxic mindsets this week. Because I felt like this was an appropriate, message. I felt like just talking about it. But I'm referring to somebody who I also watch on YouTube as well. I subscribe to a lot of folks, or at least I would say uh, a lot of, personal development, in some type of way, type of people. Whether it's people actually giving financial advice. I was shitting on financial gurus in the last, you know, topic, but I don't discredit them. The ones who make sense, and the ones who, when I say make sense, I'm not talking just money. I'm talking about those who actually are saying something worth saying. This is not giving off dangerous advice, in my opinion. I subscribe to those. I subscribe to, financial gurus, spiritual gurus, people, just regular everyday people just sharing their thoughts and opinions, right? So this guy just happens to be a regular everyday person. Well, I wouldn't say he's your average human being because he is a bit of a nomad, you know. And the nomad lifestyle is one that I really idolize and I kind of wanna uh, you know, experience for myself, in a way at least. But a lot of the way that he goes about living and his thoughts and he's a big inspiration, just like the last guy I referenced on here is, an inspiration to me as well. So I'm not shitting on any of these people that I mentioned at all in this episode. All I'm saying is there are certain things that I don't always agree with everybody, clearly, right? But no, I don't always agree with everybody, not even the people that I find um that I subscribe to. And this man, I will not name his name again, but he spent last he spent Thanksgiving, because I was about to say last Thursday, but it's not last Thursday from when I'm recording this. It's couple weeks now. But nah, he spent Thanksgiving nonetheless. He spent Thanksgiving live streaming, right? Not with his family, sitting in his car drinking orange soda. I'm not making fun of him. I mean, I have my judgments on him, but I like hard soda, man. I like hard soda. Just not enough for me to sit in the car by myself on a holiday like Thanksgiving and drink it. But I do like hard soda, man. And I do respect the hell out of this man. I do like him. I'm a fan. All jokes aside, though, but I am a fan of him and orange soda. But I peeped the interview. Well, not the interview, the live stream. I peeped that for a little bit, right? When I had a little bit of the downtime to just, scroll on my phone, this, that, and third. I was like, oh, my guy Blank uploaded. Now I'm not surprised he made content like this, but at the same time, again, I just want to put it out there that if he is just one individual that's putting out this idea that um it's okay to be alone. It's okay to, not be around family. It's okay to not be around people that you don't like or you don't necessarily get along with. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay if you are a lone wolf. As much as I love those preachings, trust me, um, if you are a listener of this podcast, you know that's how I get down anyway. But there's a limit to how I get down. Even for me, there's a limit to just the whole lone wolf lifestyle. You know, number one, I still do want to have a family. I still do interact with my family. In fact, I spent the holiday with my family. Those 2 weeks that I was away from podcasting, I was with them. Those that entire 2 weeks. You know, not a day that went by those 2 weeks. I wasn't with them. Now that shit can drive you crazy, but nonetheless, I was with them. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're with your family all the time or just 2 weeks or 2 to 4 weeks out of a year because of holiday or just holiday season, the entire season of holiday season, or however much time, right? I understand the both the pros and the cons, the emotional anguish that it can be, but also the emotional you know excitement and love and positive, just any other positive feelings that can come from that. I know both sides because I experience both sides still to this day when I see family, when I'm around them. I know it, but to make it a brand new tradition to just, as much as I love y'all being the listeners, supporters out there, as much as I love y'all for rocking with me, right? Y'all not spending the holidays with me if you're not family. I'm just going to keep it a buck. Like, if we are not in any way, shape, or form tied, we're not spending the holidays together. And what I mean by that is you're not going to get a live stream from me. You're not going to get and I mean the major holidays. When I say major, I mean like my birthday. That's the number one major holiday, obviously, right? But I mean that, and I mean like the holidays you spend family with. You know what I'm saying? You spend time with family with, or the traditional ones where you spend time with family with. Thanksgiving, Christmas, all that shit, right? Maybe Easter for some folk, but those ones that come to mind, right? The ones that are marketed toward being family friendly or family time days, right? And I know part of this man's argument, just like a lot of other people's argument, is, oh, it's about consumerism. It's not really even about spending the days with your. It's not about that. It's not. Sure, that's what the media. That's what these businesses, the corporations want us to think that it's that they care about family and this, that, and the third, but they really just care about their bottom line. But that does not mean that you have to necessarily. Thanksgiving is literally just a title. Christmas is literally just a title. If you strip away the title, it's just another day. But it's another day that you can still spend with family. You know what I'm saying? I've seen people recategorize it as family day, or people telling me happy family day. And I said thank you, and I said it back to them. If that's how they want to rock that day and categorize it. There are people who, are calling it happy native a Native American day or whatever the case is. And I respected that. Again, you just strip away the title of Thanksgiving, you can still do the traditional thing by having a get together with family and eating your all's favorite food, just having a good time, watching football if that's a tradition y'all do, playing football if that's a tradition y'all do. It was pretty nice on Thanksgiving out here, at least. It was nice enough to play football. I didn't play, but like it was nice enough to me to, if I did play, I would go out there and play. You know what I'm saying? Um, it may not have been that case for you. It may have been that case for you. Nonetheless, you can still do these things and not attach it to Thanksgiving. You can still have these traditions or even start your own. And simply because it happened on November, what is Thanksgiving? The 24th, 23rd, or 24th? Just because it happened on November 24th doesn't mean that it's automatically Thanksgiving thing for you. Number one, not every single country celebrates Thanksgiving. Only America and Canada does, to my knowledge. And Canada's Thanksgiving is October 11th. So they got theirs early. They already experienced theirs. But even in that, if you're, and shout out to all my Canadian viewers out there, but even with that situation, the advice is still the same to you as I'm saying to the American audience out there. You don't have to celebrate that day the way that it is marketed to you to celebrate. You can still celebrate that day and have your own traditions and call it whatever day, family day, a Native American appreciation day, Indigenous Peoples Day, or Friendsgiving, men's givings, women's givings. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever title you want to give it, give it. You know what I'm saying? Give it, give it. You know what I'm saying? But to me, it's like having the excuse of, well, it's another commercial, it's another day to celebrate commercialism, and that's why I'm alone, and all this other stuff. And why would I spend hours or a day with people I don't like? Now I understand there are people within your family that you don't get along with. Trust me, I know. And I understand there are people within your family who, you may have grown up in a family dynamic that was very toxic. These are not people that you want to be around. But with this man, he is still in contact with his family. To my knowledge, from the videos, and I've just started actually subscribing to dude probably like last month. So it's only been like a month since I've tuned into his stuff. But I am a fan. But from what I've seen, when he does discuss his family, it doesn't seem like there's bad turmoil there. He's definitely the black sheep, as I am with my family, but not every black sheep is necessarily outcasted by their family. A lot of us outcasted ourselves. A lot of us have people who will welcome us in with open arms. You know what I'm saying? And I'm speaking about myself included. When I say us, I truly mean myself and all the other black sheep out there. We have a lot of folks in our lives, whether we want to admit to it or not. We have a lot of folks in our lives that if we were to go to them and say, "Hey, listen, I want to come by and eat tonight," you know what I'm saying? Whether that be on Thanksgiving, Christmas, or some other night, they would very much welcome us. It wasn't the other way around as far as us being outcasted or whatever the case is. This guy seems like he is that situation where he kind of outed himself out. Now, he has his reasons, and we all have lives that we want to live. The reason why I would distance myself from people is because I just feel as though we're going in two totally different directions. Or the case with my family, I won't reveal too much, but the case with my family, I feel like there's a lot of stagnancy, if that's the word, right? There's a lot of stagnation going on, and I'm not someone that likes to stay stagnant. I like to elevate. I like to grow. You know, so that's my thing. But am I going to put it out there that they are the problem? No, that was my decision. If I decide to move out of state, if I decided to move out of the country, if I decided to move far, far away from them, it is not going to be a situation to where I'm going to blame them and give them 100% of the blame, because that's not how I grew up. I didn't grow up, and sure, life was not perfect, but I didn't grow up in a situation to where I literally it's unsafe for me to be around family, because that's not the case. And to the people that is the case, the outcast out there, that type of lifestyle is the case for them. I'm not talking about them if their new Thanksgiving tradition is to sit in their car drinking orange soda, or sit in their car, or just live stream to a bunch of people. Whether they're live streaming on YouTube or TikTok or wherever the case is, right? Um, I understand if that is the case because you literally can't be around family. Your family sucks, and in order for you to be happy, you have to not be around them. So I get that. But to those who, those of us who don't necessarily come from those rough or we didn't have a rough background to that extent, whether we came from a rough background or not. I'm not going to say my background was not as dangerous as, you can't be around your family because motherfuckers is trying to kill you. It wasn't that rough, but it wasn't perfect either. But again, whether you come from a background that was totally opposite of mine and you had everything was good, you know what I'm saying? um you didn't have to fear for your life. You didn't have to fear for your emotional state. You had very supportive individuals in your life. You just decided to go a different route. To me, it's like this time of year, I'm gonna bring up suicide again, you know? And I might not be bringing up numbers, this, that, and the third, but this is stuff you can look up. I'll try to, be better with all that and bring up numbers, and all this other shit. But hey, I've brought up numbers in the past, so this is not the podcast where I'm just saying shit just to say shit. I actually do come with facts. Um, and statistical facts as well. But I don't have the statistical facts in this episode when I bring up, this is a leading cause of suicide, and this is also a leading cause of suicide. But I implore you to look it up. I'm not just saying it just to say it. I'm saying these things because it's true. Finances is a reason. Debt is one of the leading causes of suicide, but also people feeling lonely, especially around this time being holiday season. And to us lone wolves out there who have the choice on whether we want to be lonely or not, whether we want to be by ourselves or not during the holiday season or just any season, really, we have to recognize our privilege. We have to recognize that that is a luxury that not everyone who is lonely can afford. And there's always a number of people who do watch those types of individuals, those content creators, those lone wolf content creators, because it's a number of us out there. But there's a number of people who watch us. And I'm saying us because I'm one of them, but I'm not necessarily a lone wolf creator. I'm not my entire, like, this podcast is not the Lone Wolf God podcast. You know what I'm saying? The ad for the My Two Cents podcast that you just heard, it's not an ad. That's not a podcast about being a lone wolf. It's about music. You know what I'm saying? You know, um, and that podcast tends to have a more of a active, talkative community than this podcast. So clearly, that's not some lone wolf by yourself type situation. Yes, it's a solo podcast like this one, but it's not one based on the content of just being a loner, right? And I'm not dissing that content. I'm not dissing. I tune into this shit because I can relate to it. And I like to see other people. I like to know that even when you are considering yourself a lone wolf, if you see other people who make content like that, and then you see people who tune into content like that, that clearly means that you're not alone. You're not really as alone as you really think you are. So that to me is very refreshing, and that's why I tune into that stuff, right? And again, it's very relatable because I can relate to a lot of what these individuals say. But I think the problem is when you have these individuals who make this content, a lot of them need to, and this goes back to my first topic about being responsible with the messages that you put out there, right? A lot of these people don't seem to understand that if we are choosing this lone wolf life, it's a choice. Other people, they didn't necessarily have a choice. The choice is either stay with these people, whether it's family or whatever, stay with these people and have their life threatened, their safety or their emotional and physical well-being threatened, or get the fuck away from that so they can have their well-being, again, emotional and physical, be saved. That's not necessary. That's not much of a choice, especially when those individuals aren't necessarily people who are meant, who are emotionally loners, people who are naturally loners, and put it that way, you know, because even natural loners like myself and like this fella, because I know, and like others who make the lone wolf type of content, we want to have connections. We want to build connections. If that was even the case for this guy who was live streaming, he wouldn't be building connections with people that he works with. And that was the other thing that got me. It was like, bro, but you might be away from family right now, but you always brag about these friends that you met at work, or these friends that you've met within this community that you live in for the time being. Again, he's a nomad, so he's moving around a lot, but he is making connections with the very people that he is meeting. These are people, as I've stated a few moments ago, that I'm pretty sure will welcome you with open arms and say, you are welcome into my home on Thanksgiving Day or on Christmas Day or on whatever day, or just a freaking Tuesday night. We're having tacos tonight, and we would really love for you to come over and have tacos with us, you know? Um, like it just, these things are like, you have to check your privilege. You have to understand that there might be people tuning into you who don't necessarily have that choice. They don't even have those people in their life. And they definitely didn't have a choice to be alone. Not much of a choice. Let me put it that way, because the choice was either stay with these folks and die or separate myself and stay alive. But I don't have anybody in my fucking corner. I don't have anybody I can rely to. I'm alone. And I'm tuning into this individual because I find some type of solace and peace watching this person. But now this person is giving off a message of it's okay to always be alone. Now, you're still going to get messages like that from me. It's okay to be alone, or you need to be alone and this time to do this, that, and the third. You're still going to get messages like that from me. I'm not going to stop doing that simply because I know the toxic side of being a loner. But what I'm not going to do, and what I've probably made this mistake in the past, but I'm going to be more cognizant of now going forward, is be more cognizant of individuals who are loners, and not necessarily by choice. Those who are loners simply because, again, it's a safety thing. Those who are loners because they may have lost everyone in their life, or lost all the people that were closest to them within their life. Loners because of loss, or loners because they had to get out, not loners because they just found themselves moving in a totally different direction than the people in their lives. It's so they decided to go to that direction instead of staying in the same lane as the people within their lives. You know, again, difference is I still have the people in my life. This individual who is live streaming, drinking orange soda in their car on Thanksgiving, still has the people in their life and have made brand new connections. So even more people within their life. So if you are that type of content creator, keep doing your thing. I think lone wolf type of content creators are needed, definitely, no doubt. Because I'm not going to cover that topic all the time. So one of us got to do it. But with that being said, be mindful that not everybody who's tuning in, not every loner, not every lone wolf who is tuning in is someone who made that choice because that's just something that they wanted to do. Some people were forced into that choice. Some people had no choice. In the sense of, if you've lost everybody around you, that's not necessarily a choice to be lonely. Because you didn't go around killing those people. Life happened, and those individuals, unfortunately, are no longer here with that individual. And then if it's a situation again where you're somebody who you don't necessarily have the best family dynamic, community dynamic, You have to get out if you want to live, if you want to be safe. That's not much of a choice. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing. That's my thing. To anybody out there that might be on some, Ernest gets it, or this guy gets it, or this girl gets it, this person gets it. We get it for us. We get it for us. And I can't speak for those other folks, but I can speak for me. I get it for me. I know what works best for me. And I told y'all moments ago, around this time, I'm definitely going to want to be around family or around people. This time being the holidays. I have my annoyances with my family, of course. God, I got my annoyances with them motherfuckers. But it hasn't gotten to the point to where I'm like, I don't want to spend these precious moments, this precious time. It hasn't gotten to the point where it's like I would rather be sitting in the car drinking orange soda and talking to strangers and be the only voice that I'm talking to because it's a live stream. And just like how y'all watching this video, they're watching that video. Only difference is he's streaming that live, so the comments that he's getting is, or he got, because that live stream's been over, but the comments that he's got were happening at the moment he was recording, he was streaming that video. Whereas with this video, obviously it's not live stream. So the comments that are going to come, if comments do come, are coming sometime after this video has been uploaded. The same situation. I don't want to be the individual that's talking to myself on the holidays. You know, I aspire to have a family of my own. I aspire to get married. I aspire to have all of that. As much of a lone wolf that I am, my thing is I don't ever want to give up my sense of individuality for anything or anybody. But yeah, there are certain definitely because I definitely do want to have human connections. I still definitely do want to be connected to whether it's blood related family or start a family of my own. These are things that I still want, but that's just me. So I'm speaking about what works for me. I'm not going to tell you you should do this, you should do X, Y, and Z. No. Because I tell people all the time who come to me, because this is another comment that I get, another comment about like, man, you just so like, how can I be more so like you when it comes to X, Y, and Z? One, it's like I don't like telling people, don't be like me. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Just don't. That's what I tell people. But you have to be mentally prepared for anything that you get into. But if you want a lifestyle of a nomad lifestyle or if the loner lifestyle, right? Um, you have to be mentally prepared for these things. And if you're someone who values human connection, your problem is not that that you connect with people. Your problem is that you think that your value is placed on how many people that you have a connection with. Your own personal value comes from yourself. It doesn't come from the amount of people that you have in your life. You know, that's where your problem lies. It's not having connections in general, you know, but that's for another time, for another episode or whatever. But this is the end of the Ernest Thoughts podcast. Thank you for listening. If you've listened to it in its totality, you know what I'm saying? Timestamps in the description box below for the audio listeners out there. For those, again, watching on YouTube, well, if you're watching a video on YouTube, you ain't got to worry about timestamps. They're separate videos. But, I will try to include timestamps for the audio listeners as well, because I will upload entire audio files on YouTube, as I stated in the announcement. Only difference is, I forgot to mention that. Only difference is audio YouTube listeners don't get ads because unless YouTube, not even because, unless YouTube puts ads on my videos. And to me, I don't think right now, I'm eligible for the ads on YouTube. So that's the one thing. But for those who listen to the ads on like the DSPs and stuff, the Spotify's and Apples and stuff, thank you for listening to the ad because that does support me. But other ways you can support the podcast is by hitting the link in the description box below. As I've stated before, um, 20% off of select items in the Bonfire store. And one of those select items is the Ernest Thoughts Podcast shirt. Get yourself a t-shirt. It's wintertime, so get yourself a long shirt and all that other stuff, sweatshirt and all that good shit. But that's not the only thing. There's other items again that are discounted 20% off. Again, that Cyber Monday deal ends December 21st. So if you want to still capitalize on it, 20% off. You might be like, I want a higher deal or whatever. First of all, like I said, a lot of the Cyber Monday deals are already done. So this one is still going. That's number one. Black Friday deals was scamming y'all because you had people like Target and Walmart lying about their prices, lying about the sale going on. This is not a lie. You can get it 20% off as long as you use the code Cyber20 at checkout. Again, all that in the description box below. Ways to donate can be found in the description box below as well if you want to donate and support financially. But a simple like, share, and subscribe of the podcast wherever you're getting this podcast. These are ways to support the podcast, and these are ways that are greatly appreciated by me. Until next time, until next episode, stay black if you are black, stay beautiful, Black Lives Matter, LGBTQIA plus lives matter, Black women matter, Black men matter, Black children matter, and Black lone wolves matter. Black sheeps matter too. All right? Just don't be toxic about it. All right? I'm out. Peace.